Get set for a laugh. Hello there, this is Victor Ives inviting you to join us on the Golden Age of Radio Theater. This is the program where we turn back the clock to relive the golden moments of radio's yesteryear and bring you a couple of the greatest radio shows of all time. We have a couple of really good comedies for you. Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy from 1943 with Jane Powell, Fats Waller, and Bert Lahr. And then later this hour, the campaign momentum starts to build as the Great Gildersleeve continues his quest for mayor. That's later on the Golden Age of Radio Theater. But first now, from December 5th, 1943, let's laugh with Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy.
Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy. With Ray Noble's orchestra, yours truly, Bill Goodwin, Charlie's 14-year-old protege, Jane Powell, our celebrated guests, Bert Lahr and Fats Waller, and here are our stars, Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy.
Charlie?
Yes, Mr. Bergen?
Yes. The other day on the street, I bumped into your teacher.
Oh, you should look where you're going.
No. Well, I was pleasantly surprised to learn that your grades and your conduct have greatly improved.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Well,
I can think of the darndest things, can't I?
yes, you certainly can.
Sometimes I'm so good, I frighten me.
Yes, I imagine so. She says you're almost at the head of your class.
Yeah, that's me. Dark Horse McCarthy is nosing out the whole field.
Isn't that wonderful? Well, if this good work keeps up, Charlie, you may even graduate this year.
Yes, I kind of hate leaving the 8th grade.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why?
Oh, it's been like home to me.
It has, yes. Well, this sudden burst of intelligence must be quite a shock to your school board, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yes. Since I reformed, they've declared our truant officer a non-essential industry.
Is that so? Well, I'm very proud of you, Charlie. Now, what's your explanation for this sudden change?
Well, you just laugh at me.
No, I won't laugh. Tell me, what is it? Must be something important.
It is?
Yes. What is it?
Well, it's... oh, you just laugh at me. No, I won't. No.
Come on.
No, I won't.
Come on, what is it, Charlie?
You want to know what it is?
Yes, what is it?
Well, it's love, Bergen.
No.
Uh-huh.
Love?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
Well...
L-U-V, love.
So it did all that for you?
There's nothing finer than the love of a good woman.
I see. Well, who is it this time?
Jane Powell.
Oh, I see. Your little singing discovery.
That's it, Bergen.
Well...
I'm smit as I've never been smitten before.
Well, you're sure this is the one?
Uh-huh. You just know when the right person comes along.
You do?
Mm-hmm. I don't know how you know it, but you just know it. Don't you, Bergen?
Well, I
guess you don't know.
Well, Charlie, just when did you discover that you felt this way about Jane?
In school.
Oh, in school.
Ain't education wonderful?
Yes, it must be.
It all happened in algebra class.
Is that so?
Yes.
Well...
Love smacked me right between the square root and the hypotenuse. Well, I fixed that one up good.
Yes.
Well, at least they woke up out there. I thought we were alone here. Well, bless you. I saw my option lapsing, yes. I was ready to kick you, Bergen.
All right.
Stay with me, folks. Stay with me. You'll have to figure a little on some of these, but it's worth it.
Now, Charlie, you were saying that you found love in algebra class.
That's right, Bergen.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Well, I think Jane is a very nice little girl, and I hope that...
Hello, Charlie.
Hello, Jane.
I want to thank you for that wonderful present you sent to me.
Oh, you liked it?
Yes. It's the cutest little white rat.
Yes, it was, ma'am, yes.
Well, every time I look at it, I think of you.
Isn't she sweet?
Yes.
You know, Janie, I like you so much I've written a poem just for you.
Oh, how nice. Read it to me.
All right. You're pretty as a picture. You're sweeter than honey. I love you more than Bergen loves money.
Oh, Charlie, that's so cute. But when did you first found out that you felt this way about me?
Oh, you're going to start too now, aren't you? Well, it was the day in school, you know, when I looked in the cloakroom and saw our galoshes side by side.
Oh, gosh, you're so sweet.
Touch me.
And it was so nice of you to send me those flowers yesterday.
Yes. You like them?
Yes, but I didn't understand the card that came with them.
Yeah, what did Charlie say on the card?
Good luck on the opening of your delicatessen.
Yeah, well, Charlie, you don't mean to tell me that you...
Charlie, flowers are lovely things. They're lovely things, but they fade compared to your beauty, Jane. Now, you say something nice about me.
Charlie, wherever I look, I see your face.
Yes?
In the sun, in the moon, and in the stars.
I get around, don't I?
Charlie, I hope we'll always feel this way about each other.
Well, yes, Jane. I can see us now in our little white cottage with a picket fence.
I can see it, too.
Mm.
Has beautiful flowers around it.
Oh, yes, just oodles of them. They're just stinking up the joint. Hysteria blossoms and crawling sciaticas and petunias.
Oh, Charlie, you make everything sound so wonderful.
Yes. There we are, growing old together, sitting by the fireplace.
Oh, what are we doing? Am I knitting?
No, we're listening to the radio.
What's on?
Oh, some guy named Bergen doing a corny single act.
Are we all alone?
Yes, dear, we're all alone except for the patter of little feet.
Patter of little feet?
Mm-hmm. We got mice all.
We'll return to Bergen and McCarthy and special guest stars Jane Powell, Fats Waller, and Bert Lahr in just a moment. Now back to Bergen and McCarthy on the Golden Age of Radio Theater.
Good evening, lovers of the finer things. That is the signal that opens the meeting of the Chase and Sanborn coffee class. Present tonight to participate in the discussion are Professor Raymond Noble, Mr. Axel Swenson, and our speaker of the evening, that famous philosopher, psychologist, linguist, statistician, and bibliophile, Professor Bert Lahr.
Some introduction, Dr. Goodwin. You left out the most important thing.
Really? What's that, Professor?
Ignoramus.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Pardon me for overlooking your greatest claim to fame. And now, Professor, your subject is, should you raise your hand to a baby?
You couldn't have picked a better subject for me. Why, during my infantry, I was a baby myself. I'll never forget those happy babyhood days when my old man used to come home, pick me up, and toss me in the air. It was great fun. It would have been more fun if you'd have caught me once in a while. But my father loved children. He'd have given anything if I'd have been one. And what care dear old daddy gave me? Why, he used to come home as late as 4 o'clock in the morning to stagger the floor with me. But I was an unusual child. Why, when I was 6 months old, my old man used to bring the neighbors in to see me. He'd point his finger at my head, and I'd point right back. My head was pointier than his finger. But before dissertating any more, has anybody got any questions?
Yes, Professor. I'd like to interrogate you.
Listen, Dr. Nobule. Nobody's going to interrogate me. Just ask me questions.
Well, I say, Professor Lahr, have you had any experiences bathing the little beggars?
Why, I've bathed millions of them. The first thing I do is stick my elbows in the water to see if it's burling.
You thrust your elbows in boiling water?
Yeah. Now I got 3-minute elbows.
Professor, I've been just a janitor at the university of Minnesota. And I've been of the opinion that...
What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do, Swanson? Mix me up? The subject is babies, and I refuse to change the subject.
Professor, I have a question concerning the feeding of babies. What do you think you should feed them?
Well, that's ridiculous, Dr. Goodwin. Food, of course. But my dear Goodwin, it isn't always easy to feed a baby. Now, when I was a baby, I had my foot in my mouth all the time.
Oh, that's so, Professor. How did they feed you?
With a shoehorn.
I notice that even now, every time you open your mouth, you put your foot in it.
One more crack like that, and I'll give you a noggin like a bowling ball.
Oh, really, now, come. How could you make my noggin like a bowling ball?
I'll give you 3 holes in the head.
Gentlemen, I've been of the opinion...
Now, look, Swanson, wait a minute, Swanson. You're going off on a tangent.
Oh, let me go with him. I love those bicycles built for kids.
Brother Coffee Clashers, if you please. I believe we were discussing the odd things babies put in their mouths.
Oh, yes, of course. All of which reminds me of a case where a little snitch about 2 years old went around swallowing radio aerials.
Radio aerials? I say, didn't they punish him?
They couldn't. Every time they'd slap him, they'd knock H.V. Kaltenborn into a duet with Frank Sinatra.
You don't want to jump at conclusions, but I've been of the opinion...
Now, listen, smorgasbord, if you...
Professor, it's unethical for one professor to strike another.
I wasn't striking him. I just had my hand up to swat a fly. He was showing off.
A fly showing off?
Yeah, he flew in one of Swenson's ears and out the other.
Professor, let's get back to the subject, please. I knew of a problem child who was always kissing girls.
Well, that's nothing. It's nothing to worry about. Now, I was a problem child like that myself, but I outgrew it. Now I'm a problem man.
Professor Lyle, I'd like to ask you about that method you use to determine the weight of a newborn babe.
I'm glad you asked that.
Yes.
Now, my method is the best and most accurate. Now, first place the baby on the scales. Then the father sits on the baby to hold him down. Weigh the baby and father together, then deduct the father's weight from the gross tonnage, and if there's anything left over, that's the kid.
I've been of the opinion...
All right, Swenson, I give up. What is your opinion?
Well, I've been of the opinion that you had a yerk, a yabbermouth, and a jackass.
Yuck your yak. I'll have you know that I'm one of the biggest authorities on babies in the country. Why, I was student of philosophy at Harvard, masters of the classics at Oxford, connoisseur of the arts at Cambridge, and engine wiper at Union Pacific.
Professor Lahr, would you kindly limit yourself to the subject? Should you raise your hand to a baby?
Concisely why I'm here. I have written a poem. Babies are tender bundles sent down from heaven above. Little flowery petals made for us to love. So don't raise your hand to Junior when you catch him swiping jelly. For if you drop your guard 1 second, he'll kick you in the shins. Thank you.
You're listening to the Edgar Bergen Charlie McCarthy Show on the golden age of radio theater. Don't go away. Now back to Bergen and McCarthy and guest stars Jane Powell, Fats Waller, and Bert Lahr.
Well, we've all heard about musicians who can make a piano talk. Our guest this evening not only makes the piano talk, but he talks right back to the piano. And so, seated at the crockery box, ready to give out with Ain't Misbehavin' and Handful of Keys, is the eminent composer virtuoso, that harmful little armful, Mr. Fats Waller.
No one to talk with all by myself. No one to walk with while I'm happy on the shelf. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you and you, special for you. Ain't no messing around. Oh, yes, I'm really going down. I ain't misbehaving, saving all my love for you, yes, you. like Jack Horner in a corner. Don't go nowhere, what do I care? Oh, dear. Your kiss is all worth waiting for. Believe me, I don't say I'm late, I got no place to go. I'm on borders at the radio. Yeah, just complete my love for you. Come on, son, let's get together here now. Let's float a while. Well. So easy when you know how, you know. Yes, yes. I wonder what the poor people are doing tonight. Yeah. I'd love to be with them, yeah. Beat me, Daddy. Beat me, yes, I just ate the ball. Come on, you termite. Yeah. I'll be still, yeah.
Thumping, Are you with me?
Yes, I'm certainly with you, Keith.
Splendid, Mr. Wallace, splendid.
Yes.
I might even say it was the quintessence of harmonic interpretation.
The quintessence of nevertheless, thank you, Keith. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I'm sure glad to meet you, Fats.
Well, the feeling is parimutuel, I'm telling you.
Fads, I'd like to say that I enjoyed your music, too. It was thrilling.
Oh, that was nothing.
No?
That's just a little prelude and C-scat minor, man. That's all right.
Mr. Waller, you're a big fella, aren't you?
Wait a minute. Wait. Hold everything.
Kind of round.
I'm not fat now.
Oh.
Wait a minute. I just come in the large economy size.
Oh.
That's all.
Yeah. Would you mind turning around a minute?
Turning around? What for?
I just want to see how the other half lives.
Charlie, I don't think it's nice to make fun of Mr. Waller. Why, he has the makings of a great concert artist.
Has the makings of two concert artists. No.
Are you kidding? I'll start knocking on wood in a minute. Keep on.
Well, what do you think of the symphony and the opera, Fat?
The symphonies and the opera?
Yeah.
Man, that ain't nothing but common yard dog music.
Is that?
That's all it is.
Do you mean to say you want to play boogie-woogie all night?
Ah! Yeah, man. That's solid. And I want to be on the harp afterwards.
I think I dig you.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Fats, why don't you seriously consider the concert field?
Yeah, why don't you? Why, with your talent, you might become as famous as, well, you know, that great Irish pianist.
Irish pianist?
Yeah.
Who is that, Pat O'Brien?
No, you know, Pat O'Ruski, you know.
That hurt. But I never dug that cat.
No. And then, you know, at concerts, you'll have to play something, you know, real classical.
Something real classical?
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, do you know anything by Streptokowski?
No.
You don't know yet?
No.
That's too bad. What about Rimsky corset cover?
No, but I'll tell you one thing I do know.
Yeah?
I know Rubinsky's Rubatus off the Rathscapper.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a fine one.
That sounds very good.
Yes.
But don't you have anything a little more meaty?
A little more meaty. Now, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. How about the Rump Steak Serenade? You know, that's really a classic. I'll tell you, man. That gets in the groove and you start to move, you know?
Good enough if you got the point.
Oh, yeah.
Fellas, I don't think you should make fun of the great masters.
No, that's right. We shouldn't.
No.
But by the way, Charlie, listen.
Hmm?
What goes with this Mr. Bergen? Is he a long hair?
Yeah. Are you kidding?
Yes. Well, it just so happens that I know a little about music. Why, when I was a boy, I played the French horn.
And he's the only living man who could play the French horn with a Swedish accent.
No, no.
One never knows, do one?
Yeah.
I suppose you realize, Mr. Waller, that if you were going to appear in a recital, you'll have to dress.
Well, I did sort of plan on wearing something,
That's
you know.
good,
Yeah, and it may be a nylon crowd, and dress is essential at those...
Essential?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. You mean my pinstripe tuxedo with the bare midriff? Yeah, I get it.
That should be striking.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you have a full dress suit, though?
Well, look, Charlie. Yeah, but it's a little on the flashy side.
Flashy side?
Yes,
How?
It has orange lapels.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Well, that's nice. I suppose it has a built-in jukebox, too?
Well, no, but the buttons on the spats light up.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah, that's fine, man. I'm telling you, that really comes on like a goo.
Yeah, it'll be tough to follow, though.
Yeah. Well, you must impress the people with your cultural background and tell them,
Cultural background,
that you've traveled on the continent and that sort of thing.
Oh, yes, I sure will. I sure will, old man. I sure
Tell
will.
them about London, how you fed the elephants in Piccadilly Circus.
Oh, yes. I was
sort of.
mad about it, man. Utterly mad about it.
Were you really?
Yes, old chap. I really was really mad. I'm telling you.
Tell me, have you ever shot grouse with the Earl of Nottingham?
The Earl of Nottingham, no, but I shot craps with the Duke of Wellington. I'm telling you, man.
I think you got something there now, and you got the hang of this thing, so I'm going to put you to the final test.
You have a final test? Lay it on me. I love it.
I want you to meet a fine musician and
Who's
an
that?
English gentleman.
Who is that?
Ray Noble.
Ray Noble?
Are you set?
I'm all set. Bring him on.
All right. Permit me to introduce that outstanding musician, Fatola Valero.
I say, Mr. Noble, old choppy old bean, this is indeed a pleasure.
Well.
My goodness, it's really charming to meet you again over here on these shores. It's really fine.
Well, if this isn't Fat Spoiler, lay that mess on me, man. I'm a snapping turtle. Rather.
Mr. McCarthy, I've been sadly disillusioned, and I beg to take my leave.
Oh, where you going?
Where am I going? Listen, I can't stand these dance hall colloquialisms.
Well, hit me on the noggin with an E-flat toboggan.
All right.
And that's the Golden Age of Radio Theater comedy presentation with Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy from December 5th, 1943. The laughs continue now in the Golden Age of Radio Theater. The Great Gildersleeve from June 11th, 1944. As you'll recall, the election campaign is in full swing as the Great Gildersleeve seeks the office of mayor.
Summerfield, home of the Great Gildersleeve. His campaign for mayor has been going like a house afire all week. Yes, there's been a big swing to Gildersleeve, so perhaps he may be forgiven a slight swagger as he strolls home from the office, accompanied by his campaign manager, and drops in at his headquarters over the barber shop.
Did you see how the indicators poll came out, Judge?
Yes, I saw it.
Pretty nice, eh?
All it gives you is a bare majority.
There's nothing bare about it. 53 to 47. That's a bigger lead than the indicator gave Landon in 1936.
Well, don't let it go to your head. Go on in.
Leroy,
Oh, hiya.
take your feet off that desk.
Okay.
How do you think that looks, sitting here in my headquarters reading comic books? What are you doing here, anyway?
Yeah, where is everybody? Where's Mrs. Banks? I thought she was on duty here this afternoon.
Well, Mrs. Banks had to go to a funeral, so she got Marge to take her place.
Well, then where's Marjorie?
Well, she wanted to get her hair washed.
Why today, for goodness sake?
On account of Miss Goodwin and her mother coming to dinner.
Oh.
So I very kindly offered to substitute for her.
Oh, my goodness.
She better pay me, too.
Judge, I ask you, is this any way to run a campaign? Is it?
It's your campaign, Gildy, and it's your nephew.
Yes, and you're supposed to be my manager.
What are you worrying about? You've already got a bigger plurality than Landon.
Old goat. See that you stick around here till someone arrives to take over the desk. Come along, Leroy. We got to get home to dinner.
But, Gildy, what about the meeting of the Finance Committee?
Can't make it, Judge.
Confound it, Gildy. You know the game is no good with less than 4.
Yeah, sorry, Judge. I have a little political work to attend to at home.
What's that?
My future mother-in-law. She's meeting the family for the first time. want you to watch your manners tonight.
I always do.
Well, watch them a little more closely then. I want you to make a good impression.
Say, Unc,
Yes?
when are you going to do it?
Huh? Do what?
Get married.
Oh, well, I guess I told you. Your Auntie Eve and I have a little understanding about that. As soon as I'm elected mayor, if not sooner.
You mean you might get married right away?
Well, the primaries are only 10 days from now. If I get the nomination, I'm as good as elected. So why put it off? Yes. I'll tell you a little secret, my boy. That's why Miss Goodwin's mother is visiting her now. That's why she's coming to dinner tonight, to meet the family and sort of look us over.
Yeah? And what if she doesn't like us?
Of course she'll like us, Leroy. It's up to you and up to Marjorie and all of us to see that she does. And you like her, too. You like her fine.
How do you know?
Because if you don't, I'll break your little neck. Now get along. Well, Bertie, what's for dinner? We got special company tonight, you know.
Yes, sir, and I've got a special roast of pork.
Roast of pork. Oh, that's wonderful. I don't suppose you've got any applesauce to go with it.
Well, I wasn't born yesterday.
Oh, my goodness, I should have told you.
What?
Miss Goodwin's mother can't eat pork.
Can't eat pork?
No, it doesn't agree with her, Bertie. She's on a diet. Is there anything else you could give her?
Well, I could open up a can of beans, I guess.
No, not beans, Bertie. She can't eat beans either.
No beans. I suppose I could boil up a poached egg.
Yes, no eggs, Bertie. Eggs poison her. Doesn't leave much choice, does it?
Don't leave any.
Yes. Well, you think up something, Bertie. I'll leave it to you. I know I can depend on you.
Hey, Bertie, can I have something to eat? I'm starved.
Leroy, close that door. You want the smell of food to get all over the house?
Might as well give her a smell. She can't eat nothing.
Can I have something to eat, Unc? I'm dying.
Not before dinner, Leroy. It's almost ready.
But I'm dying.
I doubt that. Where's Marjorie?
She'll be down in a minute.
Have you washed your hands?
Yes.
Well, go wash them.
Okay. Unc wants you, beautiful. Wants me?
Leroy, the door.
Oh, sorry.
Well, my dear,
Hello.
you're looking radiant this evening.
You think so? Thank you.
Never seen you looking better. Come on, kiss your old Uncle Mort. Marjorie,
What is it?
what have you got on your lips?
Oh, Uncle Mort, everybody uses lipstick.
Not my niece.
Why, I've been using it for months. Shows how much attention you pay to me.
Well, this is different. Eve is coming here this evening, and her mother. What will she think?
Don't ask me. Your own daughter uses it.
Eve?
Certainly.
I've never noticed it on her.
I've noticed it on you.
Bertie, I don't see anything to laugh at.
You would if you had to wash your shirt collar.
Uh-oh, the front door. That's them. Let Bertie go, Marjorie.
Huh?
No, I'll go. Let Bertie go. Now, you finish the dinner, Bertie. Marjorie and I'll go. Yeah. How do I look, Marjorie?
Oh, you look fine, only... Wait a minute.
Yeah? What for?
Come back here.
Why?
Lipstick.
Oh. Wait, Leroy. Well, Eve.
Hello, darling. Mother, you know Throckmorton. Why, of course. I'm so glad to see you again, my boy.
My boy.
So glad you could come, Mother.
Mother?
There's an echo in here. I'd like to have you meet my niece, Marjorie.
How charming.
How do you do, Mrs. Goodwin? May I take you out?
And how well trained. Such nice manners. You know, my dear, there's a little girl just about your age in the neighborhood where I live. I see her riding past every morning on her bicycle.
I don't ride a bicycle anymore. I gave mine away when I outgrew it. Several years ago.
How they do grow up, don't they?
Yes.
How about the rap?
Oh, yes, sir. There you are, my dear.
Thank you.
And who's this little man? He seems to be hiding.
Well, this is my nephew, Leroy.
Oh, little Leroy.
Say how do you do to Mrs. Goodwin.
How do you do, Mrs. Goodwin?
That's the way. You're not going to be afraid of me, are you?
No?
Well, of course not. I love little boys. You and I are going to be great friends. I just know it. After dinner, you must take me upstairs and show me your toys.
Toys?
He'd love to do that, I'm sure. Well, here we are, standing out here in the cold. Only it isn't very cold, is it? No, it's been rather warm today. Too warm. Well, let's go inside where it's cool, shall we?
After you, Eve. After you, Mother.
Oh, thank you, Throckmorton.
Hey, Unc,
What is it?
is she kidding?
You be polite to her, young man, and don't let me hear any more talk like that. Now get in there.
Well, I want to tell you, I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I was just a wreck. My friend Mrs. Kohler came to see me while I was there, and she said she had just never seen anyone look so awful. Well, you know, they kept me under observation there for 2 solid weeks.
Pardon me, but then I...
No more, thank you, no more. 2 whole weeks. Well, of course, I didn't say anything, but I could just see they weren't getting anywhere. And that was when my son called in Dr. Farrer. I just said to him, and Dr. Farrer should come to see me. And I said to my son, I wish you'd come...
Hello, Throckmorton.
Well, sir, I want to tell you from that moment I was a different woman after Doctor came. A different woman. I simply swear by Dr. Farrer now. He's just been so wonderful, I can't tell you. That Mrs. Goodwin, you're lucky to be alive today, and I suppose I am. Of course, I'll always have to be careful, but I don't complain. You will have to say that for me, Eve. I don't complain.
No, Mother very seldom complains.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, but gracious, here I've done all the talking. Now, Mr. Gildersleeve, you talk.
Huh?
Tell us about something.
I hardly know what to tell you about.
I saw a movie yesterday, Fighting Sea Bees. Super. It's all about this guy. He doesn't have the right attitude.
Not just now, Leroy. Some other time, my boy.
Oh, do you allow Leroy to go to motion pictures?
Well, he isn't always allowed, but he seems to go.
I suppose you saw Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs then. Didn't you just love it?
Let's go into the other room, shall we?
Yes, let's go.
Uncle Mort, if you'll excuse me, I think I'll be going up to bed now.
Why, Marjorie, so early? Aren't you feeling well?
Oh, I feel fine, but it's been a hard day, and I think I'll just go up, if you don't mind.
Yeah, me too, Unc. Hard day. I'm kind of tired.
Huh?
Good night, everyone. Good night, Mrs. Goodwin. Good night, Miss Goodwin.
Good night, Marjorie. You must come and see me. I'll see if I can't find a little present for you.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Leroy. Oh, wait just a minute, Leroy.
What for?
I'm coming up with you.
What?
Wouldn't you like me to tuck you in and hear your prayers and maybe tell you a story? I always used to do that for Eve.
Oh, gosh, Mrs. Goodwin. You don't need to do that. I'll be all right. You stay down here and entertain Unc. You stay right there.
Well, Eve, dear, I don't like to eat and run, but I'm afraid it's our bedtime, too.
Oh, now, wait a minute. You can't go this early.
It is early, Mother. Only 8:30.
Now, you know what I've always told you, my dear. Tomorrow is another day.
But 8:30, huh?
I always make it a point to be in bed by 9 o'clock sharp.
What for?
So I can be up bright and early next morning. I'll go get my wrap.
But, Eve, the evening hasn't even begun.
Now, darling, Mother's tired.
Couldn't we put your mother to bed and then step out?
Oh, I wouldn't want to leave her alone.
Well, gosh, she's old
Tomorrow's Saturday, dear. We'll have a whole nice long day together if you wish. Just you and I.
You mean it, Eve? We could take a lunch maybe and go somewhere? Maybe Grass Lake or... Oh, let me help you with your wrap, Mrs. Goodwin.
Thank you very much. Well, we've just had the nicest evening, haven't we, Eve?
Yes, we have.
I don't know when I've had a better time.
Me either.
Of course, I'm afraid I've talked too much.
Not at all. Good night.
Good night. Come along, Eve. Tomorrow is another day.
You'll forgive Mother, won't you, darling? She's so excited.
I think your mother is a fine person, Eve. I like her.
I'm glad.
Evie, darling, tomorrow is another day.
She's a fine person, but if she says that once more... Good night, Eve. Good night, Mother.
Good night. Good night.
8:30. Could go down to the drugstore, but Peavy's just about closing up. Might go down to headquarters. No, I don't want to do that. I wonder what Leela's doing. I see her lights on over there. I better go to bed.
We'll return to the great one, the Great Gildersleeve, played by Hal Perry, in just a moment. We're going to answer a question about Lassie at the end of our program this time, so stay tuned. Right now, back to Hal Perry as the Great Gildersleeve.
Now let's let's get back to our friend the Great Gildersleeve. It's Saturday morning, and he's up early in anticipation of a long day of pleasure. We find him now smartly dressed for a day in the country with a picnic basket over his arm, arriving at Eve Goodwin's front door.
Embrace me, da-dee-dee-dee, da-da-da-dee. Oh, good morning, Mother.
Good morning, Throckmorton. Come right in and make yourself at home.
Oh, thank you. I'll do that little thing.
You can set the picnic basket right here.
Thank you. You're looking mighty chipper this morning, Mother.
Well, that's just the way I feel. I felt so good I got up at 6 o'clock.
Oh, bright and early.
Yes, indeed. I made my bed, that is, after my exercises, and then I came right down.
Exercises? You don't do those deep knee bends and all that.
Oh, no. I just do abdominal breathing every morning by an open window. It's wonderful for you.
Oh, I suppose so. I just breathe the regular way myself, lungs.
Well, I'm sure my method would help you. I think you're the abdominal type.
Oh. Well, these trousers are a little tight. Well, it's a fine day for a picnic, isn't it?
Lovely.
Mother, you're sure that you'll be able to find plenty to do here all day, all by yourself?
Oh, mercy, Throckmorton, you don't have to worry about me. I can find millions of things to do around this house. And besides, I know how young people are.
By George, you're one mother-in-law in a million.
Well, good morning, Throckmorton.
Oh, hello, Eve.
Throckmorton just paid me a very pretty compliment, dear.
Oh, really? Should I be jealous?
I don't think you'll have to worry.
Well, Eve, all ready for a happy day at Grass Lake?
Oh, I hope so, dear. But there are some things I've just got to do first.
Oh? What things?
I've got to do a little shopping with Mother.
But you promised, Eve. Your mother doesn't want to go shopping anyway. She just wants to clean the house, exercise, and weed the garden. She just told me.
Well, maybe she does, but there are one or two things she's got to have.
No, Eve, I don't really.
Mother, you've got to have a hat. I can't let another day go without buying you a hat.
But, Eve, I've got a picnic lunch in the car. We ought to get started.
Throckmorton, do you want Mother running around town looking like a scarecrow? Well, I don't. Come on, you can drive us down to Hogan Brothers. It shouldn't take long.
Oh, Throckmorton, what can we do? I've never been able to argue with Eve.
Neither have I.
Now, Mother, you're being a little difficult. I think that hat's perfectly adorable on you.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear, but I think it makes me look too young.
Oh, Mother, that's silly. What do you think, Throckmorton?
Oh, looks fine to me.
No, Throckmorton wants me to look giddy, I'm afraid.
What about the broad brim model, Mother?
No, I don't like that one at all. Do you like it, Throckmorton?
Huh? Oh, I think it's perfect.
I think it makes me look like a mushroom. Have you anything else, miss?
Well, I really don't know what else to show you, madam. These are all the models we have.
Let me look at that straw we tried first. I like that.
Oh, Eve, I don't like straw hats. They always make me sneeze.
Oh, Mother, that's something you've just got fixed in your mind. Nobody could possibly be allergic to straw hats.
What's the matter with the little blue hat, Eve?
The blue one? I never even considered that a possibility. Mother, will you try this one with the feather, please?
Oh, I've told you, Eve, a feather makes me look too tall.
We could remove the feather, madam.
And she looked too short.
Why don't you cut the feather in half?
Throckmorton, don't try to be funny. Can't you cooperate?
But, Eve,
Eve, here's a hat I really like.
Oh, well, do let me see.
Oh, dear, how did she find that? That's my hat.
Huh? If she likes it, miss, sell it to her. I'll give you an extra $5.
Well,
Yeah.
just watch me.
Well, I must say, this is the only hat I've seen here that's worth trying on.
Well, I'm sorry I didn't show it to you before, madam. It only came in this morning. It's copied from a Paris exclusive.
Yes, smuggled out by the underground.
I think it's just my type, Eve, don't you?
Exactly. Don't you think so, Throckmorton?
Oh, like it was made for her. Wrap it up, miss.
Why don't you wear it, Mother, and let her send your old hat?
Yes, that's even better. How much is it?
$15.
$15. Does that include everything?
Yes, sir.
Oh, well. Here. Come on, ladies. We'll get started.
Wait a minute, Throckmorton.
Huh? What's it now?
I want to look at Mother for just a minute. Oh, yes, I was afraid so.
Eve, the hat is perfect.
Oh, yes, but her dress.
What's the matter with the dress?
It doesn't go with the hat. Come on up to the next floor, Mother.
Oh, my goodness. Well, go ahead and buy her an outfit. Buy her the whole store. When you get through, you'll find me at Peavy's. Have a pickle, Peavy?
No, thank you, Mr. Gildersleeve. I agree with pickles, but they don't agree with me.
How about a turkey sandwich?
Oh, I'm not very hungry, thank you. You appear to be stuck with a picnic lunch, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Stuck is the word, Peavy. I was hoping to spend the day at Grass Lake with my fiancée.
Well, you couldn't have a nicer day for it. Mother-in-law trouble?
Well, I suppose you could call it that, Peavy. Although I don't know. I think the old lady would have let us go. She said, go on, enjoy yourselves. I know how it is with young people.
They say that. You know, Mr. Gildersleeve's mother-in-laws say one thing and mean another.
Oh? Well, how can you ever tell where you stand?
You'll get the hang of it. I remember when Mother Horsefall visited me first with Miss Peavy. I always call her Mother Horsefall.
Yes, I know, Peavy.
Well, I used to have an easy chair. I sat in after supper. Every night she used to say, it certainly is nice that Richard has that easy chair to sit in.
Well, what's the matter with that?
After supper on about the fourth night, she sat in the chair. I didn't get another shot at it till she left.
When was that?
She was there 10 days to a day.
Well, Eve's mother's only staying a few days, Peavy. But I never get any time alone with Eve.
Say, Mr. Gildersleeve, I wonder if a bird lecture wouldn't solve your problem this evening.
Bird lecture? What the devil is that?
Well, there's this fellow, Professor Swallow, gives a lecture on birds. He's named after a bird himself.
Yes, I can see that, Peavy. What's the lecture?
He's giving it tonight at the YWCA. He gives it here every year. It's all about different kinds of birds and their habits and so on. Very educational.
Sounds like the dullest way to spend an evening I ever heard of.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Although it's pretty close to it, I'll admit. That fellow whistles to imitate various bird calls.
Sounds horrible, Peavy. I wouldn't want to take my girl to anything like that.
Well, I wasn't thinking of that, Mr. Gildersleeve. But how would it be for the old lady?
Yeah. Peavy, you're a genius.
No, I wouldn't say that. Do you think she'd like to go?
Oh, she'll go, whether she likes to or not.
I wonder if she'd care to go with Mrs. Peavy.
Just the thing. They could have a fine time together, Peavy. By George, I don't know how to thank you.
Oh, don't thank me, Mr. Gildersleeve. We've got 2 tickets, and I've heard this fellow 6 years running.
Well, I'm glad you're getting something out of it.
I hope there'll be something in it for you, too.
Well, don't worry, Peavy. We'll send the old lady to the bird lecture, and Eve and I'll stay home and play Love Nest. Well, you'll have to admit, Eve, this is pretty nice.
Happy, Throckmorton?
What do you think? I'm sitting on a sofa with my best girl.
You're sweet. I hope you weren't too disappointed about the trip to the lake, darling.
Oh, I've forgotten all about it. And you're right, Eve. Your mother should have some new clothes.
Don't you like her clothes, Throckmorton?
Oh, sure. Only I just think whatever you say is right.
Oh. I was afraid you were criticizing Mother's wardrobe.
Certainly not, my dear. Her clothes are fine.
I hope she's having a good time at the lecture.
She'll love it. Mrs. Peavy likes it. Your mother's bound to like it, isn't she?
Well, not necessarily. Mother's not quite as old as Mrs. Peavy, Throckmorton.
Oh, no, of course not. But I imagine your mother likes birds, doesn't she?
Well, I don't think she cares about them one way or the other. Do you like Mother, Throckmorton?
Do I? She's a peach, Eve. She's true blue.
Oh, I'd feel very unhappy if I thought you didn't like Mother.
Oh, I'm crazy about her, Eve. Why shouldn't I be? She's the old block that you're the chip off of. Anybody would know you were her daughter.
Really? I hope I look like Mother when I'm her age.
Sure you will, but don't worry, that won't be for some time.
What did you say, Throckmorton?
Did I say something? Oh, no, I just meant that you'll be young for a long time, Eve. Young and beautiful, just like you are now.
Do you really think I'm beautiful?
I sure do. How about a kiss?
Oh, it's too soon after dinner.
Huh? Well, gosh, Eve, we haven't got all night. I mean, that fella can't keep talking about birds forever. I mean, oh, gosh, Eve, how about a kiss?
That's not a very romantic way to approach a girl, Throckmorton.
Well, I can't be cagey all the time.
Oh, no, not cagey, romantic.
I don't know how to be romantic.
Oh, yes, you do. Sometimes you can be very sweet.
Well, darn it, I feel sweet, but it's 9:30 already.
Stop talking about the time.
Huh?
That's not sweet.
I know. You're sweet, though, Eve.
That's better.
How would it be if I'd sing to you?
I think that'd be very nice. Do you want me to play?
Would you? I know a song I'd like to sing to you.
Come over to the piano. If I know it, I'll play it.
Oh, you know it. Deep in my heart, dear.
Oh, yes, I like that.
Deep in my heart, dear, I have a dream of you. Passion of starlight, perfume of roses and dew. Our paths may sever, but I'll remember forever. Deep in my heart, deep. Mother!
Don't stop singing, please. You have a lovely voice.
Well, thank you. What happened to the bird lecture?
The magic lantern broke down. You go on singing, Throckmorton.
Oh, yes, Throckmorton. Sing something for Mother.
Eve, where are you going?
Just out to the kitchen. I'll be right back.
Sing something nice for me, Throckmorton.
All right, Mother. What would you like?
Well, let's see. Oh, one of my favorites is Polly Wolly Doodle. Do you remember it?
Yes, I remember it.
Now, don't be bashful. Come on. Oh, I went down south for to see my gal. Come on, Throckmorton.
Oh, I went down south for to see my gal, sing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. My gal, she is a spunky gal, sing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day.
Why, Throckmorton, what's the matter?
I don't know. I want to go home. Hello. Is this the depot? This is Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve. I want to make a reservation on the 219 to Pittsfield next Wednesday. It's for my mother-in-law. Oh? Have you got anything on Wednesday? Have you got anything before Wednesday? How about Thursday? Friday? I'd like a compartment. A lower would be all right. Well, how about an upper? Have you got a reclining day chair? Well, call me if you get anything. Hey, wait a minute. Is there any room in the baggage car? Oh, well. Good night, everybody.
That's the Great Gildersleeve from June the 11th, 1944. In just a moment, we'll be back to answer a question from a listener in Traverse City, Michigan, who wants to know, was it really Lassie who was on radio, or was her role simulated? To answer that question from our listener from Traverse City, Michigan, was it really Lassie who was on the radio, or was her role simulated? Well, it was Lassie, the collie, who did most of the barks and the growls and the whines called for in the script. Lassie's trainer, Rudd Weatherwax, narrated the show and gave the movie Canine her cues. Once in a while, animal imitators substituted for Lassie if she failed to respond, or if the transitions were too complicated for the dog to do. By the way, a sidelight, the trainer, Weatherwax, got the dog in payment for training her when the owner decided not to keep the collie. So needless to say, the cast-off collie really cashed in for her new owner, Rudd Weatherwax. And that's the Golden Age of Radio Theater. Victor Ives speaking, thanking you for being with us, and inviting you to join us next time we turn back the clock to once again relive the golden moments of radio's yesteryear and bring you some of the greatest radio shows of all time.
For a copy of today's program, call 1-800-326-0296 and refer to show number 32. That number again is 1-800-326-0296. And remember to refer to show number 32.